Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Sunday Afternoon Smokes, another cigar review. Today, I'm Chris. I'm your host. I am the creator and host of Sunday Afternoon Smokes. I'm also the owner and operator of the Cigar Box, wearing all my swag today, right? Sunday Afternoon Smokes hat, Cigar Box hoodie, and if you'd like to get any of that sweet swag because you like what I'm doing, think the company's cool, whatever, you can just shoot me an email over to sundayafternoonsmokes@gmail.com. I'd be happy to, get you what you need, whether it's a hat, whether it's a hoodie, or heck, if you need cigars. But you probably got that covered. Anyway, today I'm out in my fake background, thanks to technology, the Sunday Afternoon Smokes podcast studio, which is really just my backyard. And thanks to tech, we've got this little background going on here. But what I'm going to be lighting up in just a minute is this United Cigars Lancero Maduro. That's what I'm going for. And so looking forward to that. Let me just, you got to snap photos. I should have done this before starting recording, but you got to snap photos for Instagram and social media and all that jazz. Just trying to, build a following. But like so many of the cigars that I'm smoking right now and here lately, I met these people in Vegas, at the end of TPE at the end of January. So United Cigars, never heard of them before. There's so many cigars out there that you've never heard of. United Cigars, this company started way back in the early 1901, I think it is. If you want to visit their website, you can get over to unitedcigargroup.com. And just in their about section, they'll tell you all about it, about when they started, how they started. It's a pretty cool, very rich history. They've got a lot of lines, a lot of things going on. Their brands, if you just hover over our brands in the header up there, you'll find pretty much everything you need to know about the cigars they're putting out. I've got a red anchor that I'm going to be smoking at some point in time, doing a review for that. But they've Abuelo Acid Atabi, which is pretty big right now, Bandolero, Byron Classic, Desperado, on and on and on the list goes. And you get down to United Cigars. They've got United Maduro and United Natural. And so what I'm smoking today is the Maduro, which honestly looks a little bit lighter in color on the wrapper than I would expect out of a Maduro cigar. We'll see, but it's a great looking cigar. It's looks to be really well done, really well rolled. They put a nice little pigtail cap on it right there. And so let's go ahead, man. I'm going to just go ahead and snip this thing off really quick. I'm going to use my guillotine cutter that I have right here. We'll just slap a quick little cut on there. Cold draw. Definitely, that's toasty. Toasty on the cold draw. And, but it smells rich to the nose, which I really, really like. It's toasty. Excuse me, toasty and nutty in the mouth. To me, it's rich on the nose, on the pre-light here. And, like I said, this looks to be a bit lighter than what I would expect out of Maduro. And if you don't believe me, which there's no reason for you not to, but there it is, United Maduro. You're going to have to do your best to read backwards. But there's a cellophane, there's the sticker, United Maduro. You might not have to read backwards when the video comes out, but just recording, I have to read backwards. So we'll see. So I'm gonna use, got a lighter here. This is nothing fancy. This was a sample given to me, and just just a quick word about lighting. This is a simple 2-torch right here, 2-jet butane torch lighter. in the world of lighters that we have for cigars, there's a lot going on. Always a new design, a new brand, a new company. Tricks of the trade incorporating, we have a fuel window. Do we have a punch incorporated? Do we have a draw tool? Is it 4-jet, 3-jet, 2? Is it a single, 6-jet? The reality is when it comes to lighting a cigar, all you need is a match. I mean, that's just the reality. I will say there's good, better, and best when it comes to cigar lighters. And where I fall in that category is just simply, it's not even good, better, and best so much as it is circumstance and what's the environment in which I'm going to light my cigar, right? If I'm outdoors and it's breezy, forget matches. Even if you stack 2 or 3 of them together, it's just going to be really, really difficult, and you're going to be hunting for a windbreak and all that stuff, trying to huddle behind a tree or whatever. And so a torch lighter has its place. If I'm indoors at a cigar lounge and they've got long stem matches, yeah, that's what I'm going for. If I'm outside, 99% of the time outdoors, I'm going for a jet lighter. The one thing I think that we should keep in mind, or maybe you want to be careful about, is, a lot of the lighters on the market are triple torch and quad torch or jet, triple jet, quad jet, 3. Do we really, really need 3 and 4 jets to light a cigar? And the answer is no, you don't. Now, that's not a knock on those. Most of the lighters that I own are triple jet. I like this one. This just simple 2 jet lighter right here. Now it's a little difficult on the thumb to push here. I wish it was a little bit of an easier squeeze, but you want to be careful just not to burn the bejesus out of your cigar, because then, you don't want to burn the sugar. You don't want to burn the oil in the leaf, because then your cigar is going to start off being just kind of burnt and acrid. And that's no bueno. That's not the cigar smoking experience you want. And you consider that a torch jet lighter, this burns somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500 degrees, versus maybe like a Bic lighter or a Zippo with a soft flame is probably somewhere around 1,400, and then in a match, just in your average strikeable match, somewhere between 600 to 800 degrees. 2,000, 2,500 degrees. It's a lot. So you just want to be, you want to be careful on the foot. And, yeah. So I'm just doing something nice and easy, especially because this is such a small ring gauge cigar. I think on the United Maduro's website, or not United Maduro, UnitedCigarGroup.com, their vitolas in this specific cigar comes in a Robusto, a Toro, what they're calling a Pencil, which is what this is. It's, a Lancero, and a Churchill. So this Lancero is exceptionally thin. This is only 6x28. So it's very thin. And with just such a small ring gauge cigar, I don't need 3 jets. I'm not smoking a extra Gordo, right? I don't need 3 jets. I don't need 4 jets. A single would do me, honestly, even a match. But again, I'm outside, even though it's pretty calm this morning, for which I'm grateful. Excuse me, sip of coffee there was necessary. But let's go ahead and light up this United Cigar Lancero Maduro and see what it's all about. So I'm going to, do the ritual of toasting the foot here at the bottom. Don't really, you just kind of want that flame to be kind of kissing the foot. I don't have to be all up in its face, just blasting the crap out of the foot of the cigar. Like I said, you don't want to burn the natural oil and sugar in the tobacco leaf. And so you just kind of want to, you just want them to kiss a little bit. We don't have to, it's not a French kiss, man. We don't need that. We don't need full on just right up in each other's face. We just need some soft caressing, some gentle, some gentle kissing. That's all you really need there on the foot. And so we're toasted up pretty good. Let's take a few puffs. Yeah, that's good. It's a little deceptive, honestly. It's a little deceptive to the eye. Like I said, look at the color on here. If you go, excuse me, if you go into any cigar lounge, any humidor, doesn't have to be a lounge, go into a humidor, go into the humidor at Total Wine. Heck, go into my cigar trailer in my garage, and you ask me to point you out the Maduros. I'm going to point out the dark things, like most people would. That Maduro tobacco, that Maduro is typically very dark brown, getting close to black. It's just undergone the longer periods of fermentation to get there, to bring out the deep, rich flavor in the tobacco leaf. I'm digging this already. So back to my original statement that this is deceptive. I mean, I look at it and it's just this kind of medium brown on the wrapper. I would never look at this cigar and say that's a Maduro, but it tastes like one. It's bolder on the taste than the eye tells you it's going to be. And which lends credence to the old saying, never judge a book by its cover, right? People shop with the eyes. We always do that, whether we're going out to eat or whether we're looking at cars or whether we're looking at cigars. It doesn't matter. People shop with the eyes. You'd never look at this and be like, oh, yeah, that's a Maduro. No, not this one. So it's deceptive. But it's got the things in it that I love. You've heard me say it before. If you have listened to my regular podcast or probably any of my cigar reviews, you've heard me say it before. The tobaccos that I love, Connecticut broadleaf, Pennsylvania broadleaf. I'm going to even throw in there, and this is a lot of American stuff, I'm even going to throw in there Florida sun-grown. Excuse me. I love Mexican San Andreas, which, a lot of those three out of those four are the tobaccos that are typically used to create Maduro cigars, the broadleaf stuff. So the wrapper on this United Cigar Pencil Maduro is a Mexican San Andreas. Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Dominican filler, and then Brazilian Matafina tobacco. There's a car going by. Hopefully the background noise filters can pick it up and cut it out. Brazilian Matafina on the inside, Dominican broadleaf on the inside, and Dominican Seco. So if you're not familiar with the tobacco plant, I kind of gave a rundown in the previous cigar review I did, but I'll just do it again. If you're not familiar with the tobacco plant, this thing is 5, 6, 6.5 feet tall once it's fully mature, I suppose, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then you might, maybe 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, whatever. But then you might want to divide that mentally into 4 different quadrants from top to bottom. The very top's Ligero. The next section is Viso. That third quarter headed towards the bottom is Seco. And the last section on the bottom is Velado. So Ligero, Viso, Seco, Velado. The Seco and Viso, or Viso and Seco, those leaves provide a lot of flavor. And then the lower on the plant you get thinner, finer leaves, more combustibility, things that the leaves that you would need to keep a cigar burning without it going out, like the rugged, the higher up the plant you go, the thicker and more rugged the leaves get. So you need to balance that out to keep the cigar burning with something thinner. So they've got some Dominican Seco in there, providing some good flavor, also providing some combustibility, because you've got some hardier tobaccos, the Dominican broadleaf and the Mexican San Andreas. Both of those are rugged, hardy plants. If it's a broadleaf, it's rugged, meaning thicker leaves, hardier leaves. They need some finer leaves in there to provide some good, just to aid with combustibility. But the Mexican San Andreas and the Dominican broadleaf, I feel like that's the powerhouse of flavor that's in this cigar. And I'm gonna score this on the I'm gonna score this cigar not on a point scale, but just I'm gonna call it full body for me. I mean, I'm gonna say it's medium full to full on the flavor profile. On the body, I'm gonna say it's full. Once I puff this thing a few times and then draw a big mouthful, man, the smoke is thick, and that's my favorite thing about a cigar. I even am more. I enjoy a cigar more on the thickness of the smoke than I do on its flavor. Just because I like cigars across the board, almost regardless of what they taste like, though I have my preferences. But if the smoke is lush and thick and creamy, man, that makes for a banger of a cigar in my book. And that's what I'm getting out of this United Cigar. So now Mata Fina tobacco that comes from Brazil, it's the most popular of the Brazilian tobaccos. It's a dark, sun-grown leaf, typically stalk cut. There's a couple of different ways of harvesting if you're not familiar with how tobacco is harvested. Kudos to United Cigars, man. This thing's freaking awesome. And this is a great cigar. This is everything that I would want. This is everything I'd want in a cigar, to be honest. I mean, the flavor's there. The draw is there. The lush, creamy smoke is there. And by the way, man, we'll get back to Mata Fina, but look at the construction. Just even burn all the way around. Yeah. This thing is, and I can talk for a few minutes and come back to it and start puffing, and it hasn't gone out. I've got nothing bad to say I've got only good things to say about this cigar. But back to the Mata Fina tobacco from Brazil. Like I said, dark, sun-grown, typically stalk cut. There's a couple different ways of harvesting tobacco. There's priming, where you will go out into the field and you will pick a few leaves over a 6 to 8 week period in the harvest season. You'll just pick a few leaves starting at the bottom, headed to the top when they're ready to be harvested. That is a little bit more labor intensive. It takes a little bit more time. And then, of course, they take the leaves and they bind them together and hang them on sticks and put them into open air barns for curing. And it's a neat method just because that priming method over the last 4 to 6 weeks of the tobacco plant's life, you are driving all the final resources of that plant is being pushed into those leaves up and up and up and up, right? It's kind of, you're priming the pump really to the very last few leaves, pushing all the resources of the plant upwards. You're stripping leaves off the plant, and it's diverting resources to its last few. And so that's a pretty neat thing. But the stalk cut is just exactly what it sounds. It's much more cost effective. It takes less people. It takes less time. So you go out into the field with your machete, your hatchet, your knife, your whatever, and you're just cutting the tobacco plant cutting the stalk down at the ground, and you're drying the leaves, curing the leaves on the stalk. So that's, typically stalk cut from Mata Fina tobacco, not always, but that just gives you a little bit of insight. So, Brazilian, Dominican broadleaf, Brazilian Mata Fina, Dominican Seco, binder is Dominican, wrapper is Mexican San Andreas. They put this on the medium full to full on their website, which is exactly what I said it was. But that's, not that I'm a cigar sleuth or anything, but that's just what it was for me. That's good. That's really good, man. I'm enjoying this cigar. So what should you expect from this United Cigar Maduro According to them, warm notes of creamy cappuccino with a complimentary cocoa spice and light pepper and a perfect draw. They're right about the draw. The other stuff on there, that's completely subjective, as you know, as they know, as I know, as any cigar smoker knows. Anything consumable is subjective to the consumer. What are you getting out of it, right? They're saying creamy cappuccino, complimentary notes of cocoa, spice, and light pepper and a perfect draw. Brazilian Matafina tobacco balances the cigar with soft hints of sweet leather. Let me see. Leather, yep. Very light spice. The draw is excellent. There's, like I said, the smoke is thick and creamy and lush. So yeah, man, it's just excellent. So, back to what I was saying at the beginning about United. United was founded in 1901. They built over 3,000 retail locations across the country. They're a national retail chain. They say on their website that United Cigars was the first to have a working plane as a flying cigar lounge, which is pretty sweet. And then they talk about their United Maduro box press cigar. Yeah. So look, and one thing that's really cool about the United Cigars is if you buy a box of United Cigars, if I'm not mistaken, you'll get a star off of a U.S. flag. There's a program out there called Stars for Heroes, and it's a benefit for veterans. So what United Cigars does, I don't know if this comes in all of their boxes and all their lines or only in the United line. Don't quote me on that. Just, ask a question to somebody. But what they do is they buy the stars off of decommissioned flags, which is a program to help support our soldiers. I think veterans, to be specific, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But they buy those stars off of decommissioned U.S. flags. They send them down to their factory, which I think is in the Dominican, and one of those stars goes in the box. So when you order a box of United Cigars, you're going to get a star from a decommissioned United States flag, and that's pretty cool. So, yeah, man, it's a great cigar. It's a great Maduro cigar. Excellent. Everything I would want in a Maduro. The flavor's there. The draw is there. The construction is there. The richness of the smoke is there. United Cigars, man, you crushed it with this Lancero. Man, great job. I love it. Definitely love it. You can follow me on Instagram at Sunday Afternoon Smokes or at Mobile Cigar Box. My company name is The Cigar Box, but of course, when I launched it a few years ago, shocker, the cigar box was taken on Instagram. So, but it works out because I am a mobile cigar business. So at Mobile Cigar Box on Instagram, I combine both of those, my cigar and podcast material on X, all under the same handle at Mobile Cigar Box. You can visit my website at mobileCigarBox.com to learn more about what I do. And if you're local to the upstate of South Carolina, you want to have me out for a party, for a wedding, for whatever, reach out. There's a booking inquiry form on there. But you can find, Sunday Afternoon Smokes also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Big rig going by. Hopefully you don't hear it at all. I live right up against a very busy street here in Easley, South Carolina. So anyway, you can find Sunday Afternoon Smokes, the regular podcast where I sit down and interview local entrepreneurs, business professionals, and entertainers over a cigar, casual conversation, fun stuff. And then there is my cigar review portion, which is also on the same listening platforms and on this YouTube channel that hopefully you've been watching. Again, if you want any of this swanky gear, we can get you hoodies, hats, t-shirts. Just send me an email to sundayafternoonsmokes@gmail.com. We'll make it happen. Thanks for watching and or listening. I really appreciate it. Share it with your friends, your cigar smoking friends, your cigar smoking family, community. Share it on your social media. Share it with the world, as I say, because Sunday afternoon smokes is pretty sweet. We'll talk to you next time.